Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Online Creators Association's Thursday Night Live. Just finishing up writing a sign there so that the people on TikTok can find the stream, because 2/3 of it doesn't show up on TikTok. We did try a couple weeks ago multi-streaming onto TikTok, and the noise was there. There was noise.
Pretty tremendous.
Shockingly, in spite of the fact that we could hear the echo watching the video as it was coming out of Astrid's phone, there is no echo in the recording of that stream uploaded to YouTube. StreamYard just fucking handled it.
Thank you, StreamYard. Wow. What a ringing endorsement for StreamYard, in that we literally could not even speak to each other because the echo was so bad that we had to dedicate 15 full minutes of that stream to us trying to figure out on and off what the technical issue was, not solving it, giving up, and then just uploading that video to YouTube and being like, oh yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I spent some time diagramming what was happening with the audio there. And just from one input-output pair, I had about 3 different feedback loops.
Incredible.
Hello, Material Squirrel. Welcome to the stream. Hi, Freddy Trick on God.
Hi, friends. How are we doing today?
Today feels very Monday to me.
I spent all day setting up a new bullet journal instead of work, because writing to-do lists is the same thing as productivity.
Okay, yes. 1, exactly, and 2, I was present for most of that, and it was technically my job to make you stop procrastinating. I got a lot of work done while we just sat in an open Discord call silently for most of the afternoon.
I got a lot of transcribing a list of Star Trek episodes done.
You really did. Watson's watching Next Generation, but not all of it, because you do have to buy it in order to get it. Yeah, because it's not on. It was on Netflix for a long time. It was our go-to-sleep show. Because Nick has watched it so many times, it's just extremely soothing for them. Release this.
Material Squirrel says, which Star Trek episodes? In season 2, I've watched The Measure of a Man. In season 3, which I have purchased in full, I've watched Sins of the Father, Captain's Holiday, Tin Man, Hollow Pursuits, The Most Toys, Sarek, Menage a Troy, and Transfigurations. Season 4, I've watched Data's Day and Cupid. 5, I've watched Darmok and The Inner Light. 6, I've watched True Q, A Fistful of Datas, Ship in a Bottle, and Tapestry. And 7, I've watched Lower Decks.
Oh yeah, you did watch Lower Decks. Okay.
Fantastic.
I recommended that one.
Yeah, I have been told that Deep Space Nine is the good one, but that watching Next Generation first will improve my experience of that show.
You have to watch I think the next, if you're doing this to set yourself up for enjoying DS9, there's a couple episodes featuring Ro Laren, who is the same character as a character on DS9, but they just decided they couldn't transfer the character over to DS9. They're like, we'll just write the same character, but in a different place.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people, I grew up with Next Generation. I'm not saying DS9 was bad, but I liked Next Generation so much more. I liked the travel and not the talking. And because you don't travel, you wait for people to show up at DS9 for most of the episodes. That's why I didn't like it as much. I'm like, I'm watching a procedural drama. This is fine in space.
If you don't like a bottle episode, you're not going to like DS9, because a good chunk of DS9 exists as a bottle episode. Everyone is kind of trapped there together, and it's about exploring those
DS9.
I love and hate so much that you just put it that way, because I'm like, yeah, I am not a huge fan of bottle episodes, and yes, that's it. That's the whole.
That's truly a big dividing like if you don't like a bottle episode, if you need people to be able to like go out and explore and have their own like weird little plot lines, yes, absolutely. Like DS9 is not going to be yours, but everything, it's the only Star Trek that is contained in that way, and that's probably why I like it so much.
Yeah, and I think that's why, like,
Yeah.
with the Next Generation so much,
Yeah.
somebody's like, you know what? I'm done with this crap. I'm see off ship. Bye. And just.
I mean, my personal favorite thing with Next Gen is there's so many episodes and there's so few long-standing plot lines that there's just a lot of episodes where like, what are you doing this time? I mean, I don't know. We're on the holodeck, and something goes wrong with it.
Yeah.
That's the episode.
That's it. That's the whole thing. Oh yeah, somebody's stuck in a generator for like 50 years or 100 years. These things happen.
The blatant fan service of that episode kills me, and I love it. I love it. When I am the fan being serviced, I love it.
Yes, same.
I just want to bring up the community quote from Abed about bottle episodes, just because it's a great quote. I hate bottle episodes. They're wall-to-wall facial expressions and emotional nuance. I may as well sit in a corner with a bucket on my head.
Exactly. God, I love that show so much. Ugh.
Yeah, no, I am here for the emotional nuance. That is why I watch TV.
There's also people joke about DS9 being the most sort of like socially aware Star Trek, which is saying something for Star Trek. But there is a whole episode arc, like 2-episode arc, in which it's they time travel and then inadvertently get involved in the timeline, and they have to start a riot. They have to start a riot that kicks off all of the events that lead to Starfleet existing at all. And that riot takes place in the not so distant future in San Francisco. And I'm just kind of waiting. I want to see.
It's just like with the way that my memory works, I forgot about that episode, but now that you explain it, I remember it. And I still remember, like, God, this episode's so great. It's got Quantum Leap vibes. And who was the captain on Enterprise? Scott Bakula, who runs very weird, but I'm here for it.
Did you guys watch much of I can't remember what her name is, the actor who played the Doctor after the other guy whose name I don't remember.
Cool. Jodie Whittaker?
Thank you.
The only woman?
Yeah.
You could have just said the woman.
Yeah, probably.
Star Trek, so which Doctor? Which?
Just
like, wait a minute, Doctor Who? No,
that like they had to start a riot comment just reminded me of the episode where they had to make sure that the bus boycott happened, and there was a white supremacist trying to sabotage history by making sure there weren't enough people on the bus to like withhold seats.
Yeah.
I need to actually get caught up on that. Like, it's fine.
That is actually the next thing. That's the next thing I'm at. What We Do in the Shadows comes back in 1 week, and I will like have my weekly nonsense. But in between that, I do want to catch up on Doctor Who because we have a new Doctor, and I'm excited.
I missed this is about to be the third Doctor that I haven't gotten caught up yet because again, sorry, personal overshare for just the hottest of seconds. Like my previous partner, we watched that show together, so I just haven't really gotten back into it after we broke up. And yes, it's been years,
fair.
but there's all kinds of other stuff that I've been going through, so it hasn't been at the top of my to-do list. But I still love everything I know before. So
I would like to. Yeah. It's Blorbin time.
It's Blorbin time for Cecilia.
It's Blorbin time, baby.
On the topic of Blorbo, I just want to say something because Cecilia hasn't yelled at me about it yet, and I think that's unfair. Every time I reblog a post on Tumblr that is about TikTok, I've been tagging it Blorbo from my app store.
Fuck off, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that at all.
I did it like 2 or 3 times, and I expected you to catch it right away and be like, what the fuck?
Are you immediately searching it?
Oh, God. Listen, I need to see this with my own 2 eyeballs.
Oh, God. I love it. Also, what is Blorbin?
Morbid time. That's what it is.
I believe it's a mashup of Blorbo and Morbius memes.
It's Morbid time.
Materials World, the real Blorbo is the show we made along the way.
It's true. It's the live stream that we're doing right now. That's the real Blorbo. I love Tumblr.
I feel like that's something Dan Harmon would honestly say to the cast of Community.
Right?
Yeah, that's fair.
I love that story. And we're just like, eventually we should look up the current TikTok news, but
I mean, yeah, I guess.
and we should talk about captions breaking. But before we get to that,
Oh,
I really love that story that Dan Harmon tells about the D&D episode, the first one, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
yes.
Which they were writing and rewriting so close to the deadline that when they finally like gave the studio the script, they were like, this is an insane idea for an episode. It's just clearly bad TV. And if there were any time for us to do this, or if there were anywhere near enough time for you to do anything else, we would tell you that you can't make this episode. And he was like, yeah, so the lesson I learned from that is if I work harder, I can make worse TV.
I can't with that.
Which honestly, I think is an important life lesson.
No.
Never give 100%. 80% is always enough.
No.
Pareto principle, right? 80-20.
Yeah.
I can't find I've been sitting here scrolling for a while. I've reblogged 3 posts, but I actually have not found a post yet because I was reading the post as you were talking. I love you, Tumblr. You're the most distracting social media I'm on. You gonna look up the TikTok news?
Oh, we were gonna maybe discuss captions. Captions like
Okay,
that.
so when I was
24 hours,
24 full hours?
approximately. It's okay. Let me put it this way. I went to bed the other night, and captions were there. By the time I woke up, captions were gone. By the time I was getting ready to go back to bed, I got the notification that I could update the app. I updated the app and I posted a really stupid story to see if captions worked. And they did. So it was approximately 24 hours, plus or minus a couple hours for my sleep schedule.
All I know is that it does feel like probably a full 24 hours. Every single new video I got, I would look at the comment section and the pinned comment would be, I don't know what happened with my captions.
Yes.
Yes. Which people were not putting 2 and 2 together of like, it's not just me, something is broken and wrong here, but broken enough that an app update happened, which is, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, thank you for sending me a post, Watson.
Oh, I sent you to the search results for the tag on my blog.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
I've also heard of a couple of people having issues with stitching. And it's like mixed devices. So it's whatever. But the couple of people I've talked to, they did nuke the app, restart, then reinstall, and it's still not fixed. Also an issue specific to iPhones. Not all iPhones, only some iPhones, but I'm bad with numbers, so I don't remember which one. If you go to your profile page, you no longer have the link to Instagram or YouTube. And if you go to edit profile to try to reinsert links and see if that goes, it's not, that UI isn't there, or that piece of the UI is just not even there either, only for some iPhone users. So they just like completely, for some iPhone users, that entire section is just gone, like it never existed.
And there's no correlation between follower count or anything like that. Cool.
Well, that I didn't, again, number dumb brain, didn't really like think of that, didn't really do, so I felt like we're glad, I'm doing this a good day knowing that it's just iPhone and not Android too. But the interesting thing too is that I don't know.
Mile High says
Tumblr
died. Tumblr died the way that like superheroes in TV shows die, where they get stabbed and then thrown off a cliff. And then, like 3 episodes later, they're just like being nursed back to health and are fine.
Yes.
I personally really love that part of whatever that post is, where like you can still reblog things from deactivated blogs, and it's like you've brought out the corpse to parade it about the town. That's what Tumblr's like now. It's great. I love it there.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, Mile High, for context, because we spend so much time on Reddit. Mile High, I know Mile High from Reddit. But so you know how like your dad's like cool like outfits from like when they were in college are cool for the kids to like, you know, wear the retro. That's what Tumblr is right now.
It's actually it's looped back around. Yeah, Tumblr marketing team is now selling shoelaces on the 10th anniversary of the I Like Your Shoelaces.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh,
Yeah.
you aren't familiar with
I
this?
bought them.
Oh
They
my
are going to
God,
come
no,
to my house, and I'm going to
no.
put them into my boots.
TikTok. God, Tumblr burned me. It pissed me off when I first started trying to use it because the servers were always down. And my friend is like, please look at my blog. And I'm like, I am trying, but the fucking website will never load for me. I go at 2:00 in the morning and it's still not loading. And she's like, oh, okay, we'll just keep trying. And I'm like, you know what? I do this enough for work right now. I'm not doing it for fun too. So let me know when the site is fit.
I bought those.
$12.
Yeah,
Pink
spend that stupid
shoelaces.
money.
Oh my God.
I have to do something for you, Mr.
For
President.
you, Mr. President? Okay.
It's for you, Mr. President.
Oh, do you not know what the shoelace joke is?
Have you not noticed that Joe Biden has been missing his shoelaces?
What? Guys, I'm too old for this some days. Okay,
Lynn Watson. I'm like so sorry that I am this stupid and you are my friend.
This is my whole life, though. This is what I do. Like, please, just lay it on me. I mean, especially after that political I voted.
Cecilia,
what?
We're definitely even. Like, I tormented you earlier today with a joke based in buying a notebook.
You did. The Tumblr post is this like super. So it's 10 years old. So it is very much a super Hulock era 2012 Tumblr post of like, we need a Tumblr code to like say to each other in public so that you know the other person's on Tumblr. But if it's not, it's just like an innocuous kind of weird statement that somebody would probably not really comprehend. So that the statement was, I like your shoelaces. The response was, thanks, I stole them from the president.
Okay. See, that's starting to ring some bells for me.
Yes. And the post, you know, went around and around and around. And it was mostly just like, well, this is stupid. But it did actually, unfortunately, turn into a thing that wormed their way into everyone's brain. So now I see... I went to there's an actual Doc Martens store at a mall in Bergen County. And they had so many shoelaces, and all I could think was, I like your shoelaces. And I couldn't buy any of them because it would just be stupid and Tumblr bullshit.
And dog whistle. Like, am I like the old
Tumblr dog whistle?
Never.
No, there's enough dog whistles on Tumblr, don't worry. There's enough of those. We don't need Tumblr dog whistles.
We can't forget the existence of posts claiming to have used the code in real life.
Yes.
Always like the one that really deeply sticks in my mind is the one where a girl like referenced Doctor Who in her high school class, and the teacher was like, "Hey, I like your shoelaces."
Stop.
I mean, like, it didn't happen. It's not real, but like that post exists.
But like Tumblr, lying is a sport, much like the PvP combat within the reblogs is a sport. I love that. That's part of why I like it so much there. Here's the thing, though. Now, as an adult who is going to go and teach children, if a single child mentions either Supernatural or Doctor Who, because no one's going to mention Sherlock, I will be tempted to look at them and say, like, I like your shoelaces. I want to see if they know. A
look of fear enters their eyes. And
right?
You just lean in and say, no one will believe you.
No one will believe you.
Lying
It
on
already
Tumblr is
happened on
PG.
Tumblr, and we all knew it was a lie.
Music Mike says Watson's made up facts make more sense now. I mean,
Yes, it's lying
like,
culture.
Okay.
a blog that is just lies is not a weird thing to do on Tumblr.
No, it's actually a funny
So-
thing that people appreciate seeing boosted.
Yeah, like I have had so many people thank me for spending money to put lies on their dashboard.
Has this been the joke the whole time?
What?
To fuck with people on Tumblr like that, like to do this?
Has what been the joke the whole time?
Yes, that's what you're telling me. Like, I'm sorry, but yes.
I feel like we're doing who's
To
on
mess
first. Like,
with
I
Yes,
don't
we
know
are
what you're saying is the joke.
Yes. So like to mess with people on Tumblr, like that's been part of the joke the whole time.
Okay, so the separation is what you have are people like Watson lying on purpose
Okay.
for fun,
Okay.
and people lying to make their lives seem more interesting, and then being reblogged by a bunch of people going like, I know this didn't happen.
Okay.
You fucking liar.
Which that okay. Still deception, which I'm bad at.
And
So
then
no
there's
wonder.
that one guy who wrote dozens of Tumblr posts that were like SJWs clearly lying about epic moments of like sticking up for people's
And
rights
everybody clapped.
so that he could post them to Reddit.
Yeah.
That were all
Okay.
photoshopped. Like he didn't
Yeah.
even like he didn't have a blog where he was posting them and then screenshotting them. He was manufacturing the screenshots to post on Reddit.
See, and I feel like that's the joke that I never understood from Tumblr, but I got it from Reddit because I've got a subreddit like Mile High is saying there, like that happened or useless red circle or what have you. Like that is just like, here's the joke. Like just in case it didn't hit you in the face, here it is right here.
I mean, if it helps, that is the joke on every social media.
No wonder I was so confused.
Like it's always just lying.
It's always just lying.
It is genuinely hard to tell how many flat earthers are in those groups for the joke.
Yeah.
Like I had a friend in college who was in a flat earth community, like in a flat earth, a network, just because she thought the memes were the funniest thing on the internet.
Mhm.
The problem with that is that is part of the pipeline of like, here's how we radicalize some people as we get them involved, and eventually they start seeing this as more normal, and they are more susceptible to crazier things.
Yeah, I think she was keeping her bearings by showing the memes to other people and laughing at the flat earthers with them.
Yeah.
It's like, because like again, I had always in my brain thought of Tumblr as like one half Instagram,
Oh
right?
no.
Where like you're a real person trying to do stuff, because that was my experience. I had not one, not two, but three different people famous for like IRL-y type stuff. Because my one friend does a kimono blog and got extremely famous on Tumblr for it. And then
Tumblr was like Instagram for about 15 minutes in 2010.
Yeah.
Where you just have a bunch of fan pages.
Oh, see, yeah.
So that's my disconnect with Tumblr, and I just anyway.
Yeah, there was
what
a
Tumblr is honestly most like. The thing that Tumblr is honestly most like is an RSS aggregator in the pre-centralized internet.
Yeah,
that makes a lot more sense to me too.
Yeah, 100%. And so it can. So it is part Instagram. It is part like following all your fan pages. It is also part like microblog. It's all of those things, and it's just what you decide to subscribe to will show. That's, you only see what you want to see.
Yeah, like it was set up. Watson doing the Scrubs coin trick.
It is the Scrubs coin trick.
The Scrubs coin trick. I love. I
mean, I believe you. It's like a very common thing in many pieces of media. I started doing it because Hey Good did it on TikTok. And also,
I was going to say Scrubs is a very specific reference to the finger flip. But anyway,
I've got these silver coins, and it's fun to have something to do with them apart from keep them in a drawer in case I need money.
Okay, so in other words, thank you for bringing this old lady up to like 10 years ago information date. I appreciate it.
But yeah, no, like Tumblr
I'm
was
glad to
launched with the
finally.
Tumblr wasn't launched with the intention of like competing with Twitter and Facebook. Tumblr was launched with the intention of competing with WordPress.
Yes. And
That makes
then
sense to me too.
shit went sideways so fast for them.
Yeah.
Just staff
Isn't that
of
how most
people-
platforms go though? I mean,
Oh my
like
God,
I
that's
remember
exactly
early
it.
day Twitters.
What happened was Archive of Our Own and Tumblr have been like shaking hands since like the very beginning. A lot of fan spaces crumbled, including LiveJournal. Like they had the strike through, they had a whole bunch of other shit go down. Like the terms of service kept changing. It was really bad. So people were like leaving LiveJournal en masse and joining this new little site because it was kind of built for chaos. You could do whatever you wanted to do. It wasn't built to be orderly. It was built to be quite disorderly.
Yeah.
And you could build it to be whatever you needed it to be. And then it turned into like 16 whole staff members and hundreds of thousands of users.
Oh,
Yeah.
like
For like 10 years, the website only worked because there was one guy, I think somewhere in Northern Europe. He's just called the XKit guy, who would just like build apps to fix the site, and then he got canceled and stopped making stuff.
Rip XKit guy. I miss him.
And then like a bunch of people got together and formed New XKit. They're the XKit team, and like earlier this year, I think, or maybe near the end of last year, Tumblr hired the XKit, finally hired the XKit team.
Yeah.
And Tumblr's been like doing like good, like
yeah,
like since they hired the XKit team, like their shit has been together. They like set up a program where people can just pay to put their own posts on other people's dashes, and they launched it on 420 and called it Blaze. They're selling merch that is just about what a fucking hell site Tumblr is. They're just like, they for the first time ever seem to actually know what Tumblr is.
They have
and
become
what the
self-aware.
people who use Tumblr are like.
Yeah, they have become fully self-aware at this point, which the other thing that I have always loved about Tumblr, but I especially love now because they seem to have ramped it up. Every year they do an April Fool's Day thing, and it's always a thing that could absolutely potentially break the site for the day. Like it's 1000% high risk, low reward, and they do it every single year. And this year's was crab. And you would click and a tiny little crab would appear and you would go, oh, that's nice. And the crab would hover over things and like it would see a face in a picture and it would have a little box that would pop up and say friend. And like the crab would get used to your cursor. Like the crabs were scared of it at first, but then the crab would get used to it. But the problem was is that you could just keep summoning crabs. You could summon hundreds of tiny crabs to be on your Tumblr dashboard to the point where you couldn't really see anything. It was just crabs.
Oh my God.
That's so
I
risky,
love that
and it
so
was
much.
so funny. I miss the crabs. I want them back.
I mean, it's such a badge of honor to create any kind of event on a website that is so freaking cool it crashes everything.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, it's such a badge of honor. A lot of people get like still to this day get so confused. I remember one time I told this poor kid, you specifically broke the internet. He told me, I'm crying, I'm sorry, how can I make it better? I'm like, oh God, I was
good.
joking.
You did a good
So
thing.
sorry.
Everyone's so happy.
Oh God.
Unlike when so many people tuned in to watch Stranger Things at 2 a.m. Eastern when it was released on Netflix, that Netflix crashed.
I missed it, I was sleeping.
And the actor who plays Will, Noah Schnapp, like put out the announcement of like, hey, tune in now. And then his entire comment section was, Noah, you fucked it all up. You fucked it all up for everybody. This is your doing. You didn't have to say anything, but everyone got the notification and they tuned in.
You got too much pull there, son.
It's better than Finn Wolfhard accidentally doing it 2 hours early because he was in the wrong time zone. And the entire cast commenting on his post, like, good energy, bud. We're not there yet, but good energy. It's a great time. They're having fun. Proud of them. Oh, do you want to look at TikTok news now that it's been like half an hour?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, sure. Anything that's not the drama side, because like I'm so over it, like all of it, every single last bit of it.
We don't talk about that here.
Yeah, no,
I
we
don't
scroll
want
past the drama.
Thank God. Oh, moderation seems to have made some sort of stupid update again in the background. There's a lot of people that are just, they're not doing the captions anymore too, because they noticed in that 24-hour period they started getting less community guidelines violations. So they're like, sorry guys, I can't.
Right at the top of the newsroom, our approach to keeping U.S. data secure. Do we care about this?
Yes, we do. We actually do. So this is related to the FCC sending that letter
Yes.
saying you should take TikTok out of the App Store to both Apple and Google. All
right. The security of the data of our community, the security of the data our community entrusts us with, is a top priority at TikTok, despite recent reports questioning that commitment. We have sent a letter to Congress addressing these issues and others, and also want to share with our community the steps we take to secure our U.S. user data, as well as where we're headed in our commitment to keeping U.S. user data safe, private, and secure. As we announced in May, this has a very per my previous letter energy. As we announced in May, we recently stood up a new division in the U.S. called U.S. Data Security, USDS, to bring heightened focus and governance to our ongoing efforts to strengthen our data protection policies and protocols, further protect our users, and build confidence in our systems and controls in the United States. Creation of USDS was an important milestone in the goals laid out in a blog post 2 years ago.
Per our previous blog post.
Minimizing employee access to U.S. user data and minimizing data transfers across regions, including to China. We are addressing who has access and why they need it, and where those people are as two critical parts of our security protocols. Who has access and why they need it? As a rule, security teams want to minimize the number of people who have access to data and limit it only to people who need that access in order to do their jobs. We have policies and procedures that limit internal access to user data by our employees wherever they're based on need. Like many global companies, TikTok has engineering teams around the world, including in Mountain View, London, Dublin, Singapore, and China, and those teams might need access to data for engineering functions that are specifically tied to their roles. That access is subject to a series of robust controls, safeguards like encryption for certain data, and authorization approval protocols overseen by our US-based security team. To facilitate those approvals, we also have an internal data classification system. The level of approval required for access is based on the sensitivity of the data according to the classification system. The intention of these processes and protocols is to ensure that the data is only accessed by those who need it to allow our business and our service to function. Where people with access are located. To the extent possible for a global company, we want to limit not just who is accessing data, but also where there is access to data. That's why, in addition to routing all US traffic through Oracle Cloud infrastructure, it's like, remember we fucking did this? That's why we are also working to build up our US-based engineering capacity to reduce the need for data transfers across regions. As we recently shared with members of Congress, we are working toward a new system in which access to U.S. user data by anyone outside of USDS will be limited by and subject to robust data access protocols with monitoring and oversight mechanisms by Oracle. Managing cyber threats. In addition to our US-specific work, our global security team is constantly working to stay ahead of next-generation cyber threats. We continually work to validate our security standards and collaborate with industry-leading experts to test our defenses. In the past year, we've earned ISO 27001 certification in the US, UK, Ireland, Singapore, and India for investing in the people, processes, and technology to keep our community safe. The IOXT Alliance also certified TikTok for meeting rigorous standards and commitments to cybersecurity, transparency, and privacy. We are dedicated to earning and maintaining the trust of our global community, and we remain focused on protecting our platform and providing a safe, welcoming, and enjoyable experience.
So there is so much to unpack in that relatively short Mountain View.
Oh,
What is in Mountain View? Because I was just looking up the locations because I only knew that they had that one place that I thought was in LA, but is apparently actually in Culver City. But they do still have it listed on Glassdoor as LA. I know that they opened up that office down in Tennessee. This is also saying that they have something in Chicago and Austin, Texas, for United States locations. So what?
I mean,
Maybe they're just hosting data in Mountain View because I know
Mile
that
High says Silicon Valley. I think that the question here is not like what is Mountain View and why is there a company there. It's we don't know what facilities TikTok has that exist in Mountain View.
For the most, they have facilities all over the U.S. because they are talking about data. This is going to be a center that is dealing with user data. So
Okay.
that's really what this is. Like we know the Nashville stuff is there's some like moderation and policy design going on there. We know the Culver City stuff is like kind of a business office because that's where the tax forms come from. And everyone from Culver City says they live in LA because that's just some LA bullshit.
It's what you do. Yeah, no, I totally.
It's like how people from Westchester County are like,
Well,
oh, I live like I'm so close to New York City. I'm like in New York City. That's
right.
LA.
That's like when I lived in
say they're from Boston.
Yes.
When I lived in California, they don't know. They only know the couple of big city names, and then you're just like, good luck to you. And like moving there from the Midwest, I'm like, how long does it take to get from from Mountain View to San Jose? And they'll look at me like I grew a second freaking head, and I'm just kind of like, please just tell me. I want to get from point A to point B. Just answer however you would if I'd asked the question normally in your terminology, for the love of God.
But yes, so that's bringing it up in this article and not bringing up the other offices that they have, not bringing like the New York City office up where I know they do a lot of like legal stuff and a lot of music licensing nonsense and stuff like that. Like that's because they're just talking about where they have data, where that is being stored. So we can assume that that's what's going on in the Mountain View office.
Oh yeah, there's tons of data storage places there.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense that it's there. It's Silicon Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Big per my last email, energy the entire time. Honestly, I think Cheryl is the one who said to me at some point that what it actually feels like is this is just the US government looking at TikTok and saying like, hey, timeline?
Yeah.
What's the timeline on? Because it is taking a very long time. Like it's been 2 years since they said it themselves in that article. They started whatever this process is of like pulling things out 2 years ago. And they could probably be going faster, but they kind of don't really want to because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of oversight. And I get it.
Cecilia, I think I remember you saying at some point, and this explanation is what like made the most sense to me, is just that like this is Biden being like, hey, I'm serious about TikTok to assuage voters who might still remember that TikTok was a thing to be scared of.
Yeah. The only reason, first of all, the only reason that the FCC, that the Biden administration is interested in TikTok at all is because it is still viewed as like the Chinese app and we must be scared of China.
Yeah, because like when Biden got into office, he immediately froze the lawsuits against
TikTok. Instantly. He was like, this is actually not a concern. And now approval ratings are remarkably low. Suddenly he's like, hey, boomers, remember your kids are on the China app? Like that's really what this feels like to me personally. But Cheryl is also probably right. There is also probably an element of like, hey, what's your timeline here?
Yeah.
Because it would be nice to get some kind of victory that we can like hold up and say like, look, we're helping improve U.S. cybersecurity.
I mean, and the timing relating to politics in general is just really on point.
Yeah, oh yeah, like that's like we're coming up in the midterms. I just voted in the primaries. Like we know, we can see what's going on. We're all adults here. People have been very conspiratorial about the news. as if we didn't know all of this already. And I do want to remind everyone that's feeling like, oh, this is a big conspiracy and they're stealing my data. They've been doing it the whole time.
Everybody's doing it.
Known. It's always been obvious. There have been multiple lawsuits that TikTok has lost because they've been like data mining from minors. Like this has always been a minefield like this. I have repeatedly wondered where the energy is for Alphabet. Where is this energy from the U.S. government for Meta? But it's because they are the U.S. owned data mining operations, not the Chinese owned data mining operation.
Yeah, because they're the ones where the CIA can be like, we have a subpoena, and the company can't say the servers in fucking Singapore.
Yeah, that's all this shit is. So anyway,
TikTok's Q1 Community Guidelines Enforcement Report.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is our first stream since it will have come out.
I know, but
the day of our last stream. We last streamed on the 30th, so.
I know, but usually I catch it the day it comes out. I think we had time off. Anyway, the report is here.
Do other people have a change in how names are just on TikTok are displayed now?
Again?
If you mean like the sizing, like the font, shape, size, kerning, whatever you want to, like all of the above, yes. They did adjust that again.
All right. TikTok's Q1 2022 Community Guidelines Enforcement Report. Today we released our latest Community Guidelines Enforcement Report, which provides insight into the volume and nature of violative content and accounts removed from TikTok during the first 3 months of the year. We release these quarterly reports to bring transparency to the actions we take to help keep TikTok safe, welcoming, and entertaining for our global community. The report has been expanded to bring ever more transparency to our actions, progress, and challenges, and to stay accountable to our community. For instance, we now report the 30 markets with the largest volumes of removed videos, which account for approximately 80% of overall video removal volume. There are also new charts for spam account activity and fake engagement. In addition, we now break down removals by sub-policy. As an example, we're publishing the volume of content removed for hateful ideologies and for attacks and slurs, the two sub-policies under our hateful behavior policy, as well as the percentage of content removed proactively at 0 views and in under 24 hours by sub-policy. The data is available for download in machine-readable formats to support further analysis by researchers, academics, and civil society. Given the war in Ukraine, this report also reiterates our ongoing efforts to strengthen TikTok's policies and practices to better protect our platform and community. This includes information on content and accounts removed from the start of the invasion through the end of March, as well as information on fact-checked and labeled content and more. Visit our Transparency Center to read our Community Guidelines Enforcement Report.
Well, that is encouraging. I'd still like to see more.
All right. We can come back to the war in Ukraine if there's time, but I want to. Total videos removed / total videos published by quarter. Video removals as a percentage of published peaked at 1% in mid-2021 and appears to have gone down again a bit, but is not down as far as it was in 2020. Videos removed by type and quarter, or removed and restored. So the smallest line is restored. The middle line is removed by automation. So that's ones that didn't have a moderator, like a human moderator, and then total videos removed is human moderated content.
Total videos removed is, I think, all moderated content, not just human moderated content. I would want to see the breakdown of videos removed by automation, if that means it's the 0 count ones, or if that means it's all videos removed by automation, because that's not broken down. And I get the sense that that's the 0 count ones, not all videos removed by automation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does look like the proportion of automation removals has increased.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has. Actually, where is that big jump? Go back up. The jump between April, June. No. Scroll. The jump between April, June 2021 and July, September 2021 of the automated removals. That's
Can you see everything you want to see on the screen right now?
yeah.
Okay.
But I need you to hover over on the bar chart, April, June 2021. The automated removal is
16,957,000.
let's call it 17 million because I don't care. And then July, September is 31
million.
So that's almost double. We got a 50% increase.
Total video removable by policy. Least of all are integrity, authenticity, and ascending frequency, violent extremism, hateful behavior, suicide, self-harm, and dangerous acts, harassment and bullying, violent and graphic content, adult nudity and sexual activities, illegal activities and regulated goods, and minor safety.
I know for a fact that the person who put this together is in marketing.
Yeah.
That I can't. The distinctions between each of these colors is bad.
Yeah.
That's just me being fussy.
No, like this is inaccessible and bad.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, at least it's not like uniquely like for inaccessible color palettes. It's at least not a problem for colorblind people because it's the same inaccessible for everyone. Being monotone.
Yeah, all of us are struggling.
Make your content more accessible by making it shitty for abled people too. All right. Removals by sub-policy. Minor safety. Nudity and sexual activity involving minors is the overwhelming majority. Harmful activities, physical and psychological harm of minors, sexual exploitation, and grooming behavior. So grooming behavior is the smallest category. I maintain my position that some of the TikTok moderators think that means brushing your hair on a live.
I know you do. Can you bring up the hate speech?
Hateful behavior?
Yeah. 50-50.
Attacks and slurs on the basis of protected attributes, and hateful ideology.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. If you don't mind hovering over it one more time, the sheriff policy proactive removal rate 68.9% removal before any. I hate math. Please continue.
Were you like, why those to add up to so much more than 100?
Each category is 100%. I hate it, but it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so proactive removal rate, removal before any views, and removals within 24 hours are not are all like independent ways of describing the data set. So like 68.9% of the videos were removed because TikTok caught it, not because they got reported. 60.6% of the videos were removed before anybody saw them at all. So like of that 68.9, like another 8.6% or another 8.3% on top of the before any views ones were removed after they had gotten views, but were still like caught by the system, not caught by users. And then removals within 24 hours is the total of those and reported by users, but we got it down within the first day.
Okay.
Meaning the overall message of this is that what remains up after 24 hours that isn't caught by the system, that isn't caught that quickly, is about 21.6% of the videos
that
will eventually come down. But it's at post 24 hours. There's 21.6% of that hateful content.
Okay.
Yeah, because ultimately
explaining for my number stupid brain.
Yeah.
The 100% that these are all like proportions of is how many videos were removed for hateful ideology in this quarter.
Okay.
It's not my favorite way of breaking it down.
Mhm.
They do this.
Removal rate by quarter / policy. Yeah, that
Mhm.
I don't think there's much we care about in there. Removal volume and rates by country. U.S. 14 million. Proactive removal rate 93.2. Removals before 24 hours 91.6. Removals before any views 86.4. Canada 1 million. Russia 4 million. Kazakhstan less than 1 million. Australia less than 1 million. Brazil 4 million. Almost 5 million. So Brazil is
So here's the thing.
significantly more heavily moderated, it looks like, than Canada and the US.
Not necessarily. So we don't know. They're not giving us context for what the market size is.
Mhm.
Okay, I was saying the number of videos removed out loud. I was looking at and thinking about the removal rates. So that was just me being a bad communicator. Because like Brazil's proactive removal rate is 97.3%. America's is 93.2%.
Yeah. I know. I get it. I am interested, but I would be interested to see like what the actual
Mhm.
market size. I don't know if that's listed anywhere within the report. I don't want to say it's not in the report. But I would be
It's definitely not the graph.
what the actual users
Mhm.
what the actual users are, like the number of users in each one, so we can get a sense of like,
Yeah.
or
I
like
feel that all of those should have how many users per location, how many videos posted per location.
I want them to post how many videos per location so I can get a percentage of like how much content posted on TikTok that gets taken down as like hateful content. I want to know.
Yeah.
They will never.
Should.
Oh,
Okay.
click on that IP removal request for me personally,
Yeah.
because it still remains very, very hard to actually. Is it just a blank page? Oh no, okay. How are we doing? Have they updated it? No. Not yet.
Okay. That's alarming.
No, that's not alarming. This is the regular cycle of going through this stuff. It takes.
They're being lazy though. Like
No,
what?
it's not lazy. No. This is not to defend TikTok. But this is a pretty normal cycle. So it takes you wrap up the quarter, and then you take the next quarter to actually analyze all of the data, and then the report goes up at the end of that quarter. So if you're working in a 6-month period, as the IP reports do, it's one half of the year or the other half of the year. That means you're really only getting them.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I would expect
third quarter we'd see the half.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're all all of them are technically running on different schedules for like when they're releasing, because they're all kind of being analyzed by different departments.
Yeah.
Corporate bullshit.
I know.
Yeah, it is. The map data not being easy to. None of that data is particularly easy to compare, and I do feel like that's something that I really hope people take on. I really hope they sort of take all of that data and actually make it a little more usable, and so we can find out where the holes are. And I think one of the holes definitely is how many videos are actually posted per day. We're never going to know that. They're not going to tell us. The other thing is that like TikTok doesn't make. I'm glad they've made this report relatively usable, and I'm glad they've released a version. It does seem they've released a version of it that's like machine readable, so you can just go through and pull the stuff you need. But it does like remind me that like I think to this day TikTok very begrudgingly gave some of its API information to advertisers only and only big advertisers. TikTok still is very, very guarded about all of the data.
TikTok really doesn't want people to be able to use TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do see them releasing these reports quarterly and releasing versions of these reports that do actually make it easier for people to play with the data and compare different things and make more readable versions of it that might not be favorable to TikTok. I do see that as a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and this is something that like it would be great for us to be able to like download that data and do some of our own analysis and answer some of these questions that we have that are it seem like some of them seem necessarily answerable based on the data we know they have, but are not summarized in this discussion. Like that is something that we could pull together by downloading this data. We're not gonna because we're all very busy and overworked. But in the hypothetical future where we have more funding and somebody whose whole job is stats and who isn't already still working on the stats from the last time we got data,
maybe perhaps someone to do data analysis.
Because it's like if they're also still doing that same thing that they seem to be doing everywhere else of trying to reinvent the wheel for all of this stuff too, like they could, if you, again, speaking from experience, if you are also paying attention to the names of the accounts that are being permanently banned, because repeat offenders come back so much, like that can drastically reduce the amount of like permanently banned, because if you've got if you've got one person getting banned 100 times on 100 different accounts, but you can watch it go up as username 1 2 3 4 5 etc. is getting banned repeatedly, like it's extra work that they could help skim off the edge and like give more clarity to what's going on that kind of stuff too. And it just drives me crazy that they don't.
It would be really incredible to actually be allowed to access the raw version of this data. I know that does not exist. I know they are not going to let anybody look at that.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if they're taking research requests. I don't want to be that guy who's like, they're not doing anything and then actually I'm wrong. But I do not know what their current policy is on that, but like it does seem that like that raw report's that's not available. I would say we know TikTok knows our IP address and we know TikTok collects our device ID. And I do consistently wonder why, if they don't see the same device popping up over and over and over again, why they don't ban them. I know some people have gotten banned based on their device ID, but that took some doing.
I think that's also one of those weird things too, where it's that difficult thing about it is actually tremendously difficult to keep an actual person off, like physically away from all of the internet at all of the time. And it's like, do we have to create like a forced Amish island or something like that? It's a bad word to use.
I mean, like it doesn't matter that there will be people who circumvent it. The goal is stochastic. That like, if you make it a little bit more inconvenient to make a new account, some percentage of the people who are going to make a new account won't. And every time you do that, like the gain is in terms of that percentage, not in terms of any individual person's behavior as a response to your policy.
It's just harm reduction at the end of the day.
Yes.
But it does make a difference, and it would make their moderators' lives easier.
And like the only coherent way to think about running an organization like this is stochastically.
Yes.
Like, it trying to moderate by imagining the behavior of an individual user in response to that moderation, like even at the scale of like me moderating my comment sections is unrealistic. Because like when I'm thinking like, well, this person definitely like seems kind of unhinged, might be like dangerous in response to me blocking them, that is not an evaluation I can make every time, because that is an evaluation that lands on, do I decide to leave dangerous people in my comments?
Yeah.
The answer is no, you just block all of them. And you don't worry about the consequences, because the overwhelming majority of them aren't going to do shit.
There's a couple of people who were discussing about that whole sea aligning in comment sections right now too, where people will post a comment that it's like it's a 50-50 chance that it is not going to go. It's not a good comment.
Yeah.
And then trying to pull that information out of a person, and usually within three additional comments or less, they will prove which side of that situation they're on. But it's just
one of the cases where I feel really lucky to have as dry a sense of humor as I do, because I'm really mean to commenters who say things that seem like they're going to be shitty, but I'm really mean in a way that like people who are asking questions in good faith do not notice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bless.
But yeah, I still there are so many improvements that they could make, just giving the creators the ability to do more, and they just don't. And that I don't understand. Other than money, like that's always the bottom line. They don't want to spend money on doing the things, but they also need to do the things. So.
All right. It is 9:00. So we are going to hop off. Thanks everybody for coming and hanging out. I enjoyed talking about Tumblr for a half an hour and then remembering we had a job. Glad we remembered because there was some seriously productive stuff for us to talk about tonight.
Wow.
We honestly might come back to this on Monday because this should have taken this could have taken a whole hour.
Yeah.
Do you I'll ask you off air.
All right.
Yeah.
Good
night.